Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to a retro magazine thing. Because this time I'm going to be covering Challange Magazine Issue 77. Now it's been a while since I've done one of these, and this is the final issue of Challange. Not that I've covered all the other issues, I just thought it'd be interesting to look at the last one. Now Challange Magazine was my favourite role-playing magazine back in the day, because it was the magazine of science fiction role-playing. So it covered a lot of the Games Designers Workshop games, so the publishers, including sort of Twilight 2000 and a lot of Traveller coverage. But it also covered other science fiction role-playing games. It covered things like Star Wars and Star Trek, stuff really that I adore. Far more than I actually like fantasy, I prefer science fiction. So this magazine was my absolute favourite role-playing magazine. And it provided you with adventures and useful articles. It wasn't just talking about what was going on behind the scenes and more airy-fairy stuff. It was practical things you could actually use. So I absolutely adored this magazine and was very, very sad to see it go out of print. Now, I don't think it was down to Games Designers Workshop going out of business that this was the last issue. But I think there are signs that things weren't going well, which we'll have a look at as we go through it. So let's have a look at Challange Magazine Issue 77. So, this is Challange Magazine Issue number 77. The final issue came out from Games Designers Workshop. The same people that brought you Twilight 2000, Traveller 2300, Space 1889, and lots of other games with numbers in their titles, but also Traveller itself. By this point, they were on to Traveller the New Era. And that might mean one of the reasons why this is the final issue. Because while this came out late 1995, and Games Designers Workshop didn't go out of business until 1996, there are signs things aren't going well. Let's start on the cover. Now, this image is reused artwork from a Shadowrun adventure. Now, while Challange Magazine often used artwork from other publishers and their own products, it usually had its own artwork. But this wasn't an alarm bell to start off with. Inside, we start to find stuff, though. Well, it starts off normally. We've got an advert for Chessex Ace of Aces, the 1994 Hall of Fame award-winning game, action airplane game. We've got an advert for the second Traveller the New Era novel, To Dream of Chaos. And we've got a contents page. One of the reasons why I absolutely adored Challange Magazine was the amount of games that it covered. So we've got Twilight 2000, Traveller, Lost Souls, a game I don't know much about, Dark Conspiracy, Cyberpunk, Call of Cthulhu, Space 1889, Shadowrun, Star Wars, and GURPS. So many different games, so many fantastic games covered. But another alarm bell. We reach the opinion page, which is combined with the letters page, because they have received a letter and they spend an entire editorial, 2 pages here, defending their decisions for Traveller the New Era. Now, this is a sign that it's not really being accepted too much. It's slightly worrying. Continued on page 37, so it's not just 2 pages, it goes on even further. But let's carry on through. So we've got, at last, the long-awaited winner. George William Herbert has contributed a number of articles challenging in the past. Below is Red Rocket's Glare, first place winner in the Twilight 2000 Asian Scenario Contest. Now this is an adventure where the players get sent over to Japan, I think it is, or China, to rescue some Chinese rocket scientists, people that were involved in their space program. And while there's some minor tone, it doesn't really feel like an Asian adventure. There's not too much going on here. But it's an interesting little adventure, travelling to places, Kita-Kyushu. There's nuclear craters and space world there. Various areas they're going to visit to rescue these scientists. We've got an article on German combat equipment. So different H&K weapons used by the German military during the Twilight War. We've got an advert for Rendezvous in Krakow. The fulcrums of history. Then we're on to an adventure, The Short Nap for Traveller the New Era. A really interesting one, where the players are travelling on a commercial ship. They get put into hypersleep, and the ship gets taken over while they're in hypersleep. They literally get caught out while they're asleep, but in a science fiction reason. and they have to rescue the ship or escape or even take over the space station where the ship's been taken to. Quite an interesting little adventure, and very nice for slotting into other campaigns. We've got a contact for Clarissa Noir, a Travel the New Era NPC. Advert for the Gilded Lily. The Lily Marlene was an amazing ship. Carrying on through, notes on collapsing worlds, so explaining how the collapse has happened in Travel the New Era, where technology is lost, and the way different worlds have changed. A very detailed article, very interesting indeed, if you're running Travel the New Era. Regency Sourcebook Keepers of the Flame for Travel the New Era. Detailing out the different governments which have taken over. The Traveller News Service, basically. It's the Coalition Information Network at this stage, but ongoing storylines and news from the Traveller universe to keep people up to date with it. The East European Sourcebook. And then we're on to The Bride of Baron Samedi for Lost Souls. Now, this is an RPG I don't know much about. The adventure involves going to another dimension, a trip to Limbo, to rescue somebody from Baron Samedi. Now, I don't know if this is unusual for Lost Souls or whatever, but it seems interesting enough. It's introducing a new villain, detailing some stuff out, and we're carrying on to the continuing explanation of Travel the New Era. What do we call it? Giga Traveller? It's just a very defensive article. Even more continuing. How many pages for Defending Traveller do they need? 4 pages was that? A large chunk of the magazine. We've got The Beast Under the Bed for Dark Conspiracy. Now, Michael C. LaBossiere has written a number of Call of Cthulhu adventures. You can find a lot of his stuff on the internet. He shares a lot of his articles. Some fantastic adventures in there. Short little dips into Cthulhu mythos. And that's pretty transferable across to Dark Conspiracy. But they've managed to make it its own tone. It's a nice little adventure where you have to go and travel to another dimension through one of the rifts, portal type things, which are leading to evil creatures invading the world. It's fairly short. You can pick up a laser weapon there. Got adverts for Aliens of the Rim, Travel the New Era, Striker 2, now available at finer hobby stores. Travel the New Era again. There's a lot of advertising for their own products, which is probably another bad sign for the magazine, that they are paying a lot of its publishing costs through advertising their own stuff. Silent Death from Iron Crown Enterprises. Some monsters and things from that adventure for Dark Conspiracy. How to submit things to Challange. Very ironic, given this is a final image. Got Black Market for Cyberpunk 2020. This article's about the black market, how to buy things there, how to access it. Very, very useful for the street level campaigns of Cyberpunk. A nice addition to the game. Don't miss the sting, an exciting black market adventure in Challenge 78. See, there's lots of references to what's going to happen in the future. They really didn't know that this was going to be the final magazine. Evil of the Centuries, a Call of Cthulhu adventure, where it's continuing from 2 other adventures, which I'm not really familiar with, but they're travelling to Egypt to save a child, I believe. I can't quite remember, I'm maybe getting mixed up with another. But the spirits of Neferka, lots of Egyptian mythos, which ties quite into the Cthulhu mythos. City of Tomorrow, a fantastic Space 1889 adventure. I am very impressed by this indeed. Basically, it's a island where future technology is available on Earth. So, without needing to go to Mars or any of the other worlds, we're getting into Captain Nemo territory. Mysterious city Technopolis. And what happens when the players end up there. I'm amused by the main character, or the main NPC, being Dr. Clayton Forrester, which I'm pretty sure is the scientist character out of the 1950s George Powell War of the Worlds movie. A nice little reference there. Shadowrun article, New York City subways. Now this is very, very good indeed. detailing out subways and dropping in lots of little adventures you could have. So if your characters are in New York, you can drop stuff into adventures, encounters to flesh things out. Very impressed with this. It goes through all the sort of information, people staying there, subway system today, traffic cops, the subway systems, where the trains go to. We've got little maps of the local stops, express stops, what the subway cars are like. And then we've got these encounters. The James Gang rides again, White Knight. Ghouls ain't cool. Come into my parlour, let me entertain you. Just a bunch of ideas, stats for drop-in encounters. And then we've got Pandora's Box, a Star Wars adventure, where the players encounter a disease, a bioweapon created during the Clone Wars. Now, obviously, this is written long before the prequel movies, so we didn't know much about the Clone Wars, but I don't think this doesn't fit. The idea of the Confederacy creating a disease to use against the enemy because the Republic was using clones makes a lot of sense. For GURPS, gene splices. So the idea of becoming half cat or half bear, gene splices, and we've got the costs of the cyber cat, cyber bear, cyber beaver. We've got information about conventions which were going on in late 95, early 96. A technical assessment database update for Intrepid grav tanks for Traffic with the New Era. Now this looks familiar to me. This is perhaps a section out of one of the technical books for Traffic with the New Era. Or perhaps these are slightly updated. I haven't compared them. But it does look very familiar. The Intrepid grav tanks I'm sure I've seen in other source books before. But it's nice information. Perhaps it's just to give you a teaser, a taste of one of the books that you might want to get. We've got the review section, Fire Upon the Deep, by Tor Books, Zombies of the Gene Pool, Operation Rimfire by Artarzorian Games, and the Army of Darkness role-playing game by Leading Edge Games, the people that brought us Living Steel and the Aliens RPG back in the day. I was intrigued to see that it's a team solitaire game where you're working through to a common goal, but there's competition. An interesting idea. Question and answers page. Different GDW products coming out. Classified section. And then we're onto the sort of back page where it's telling us what's in the next issue. Stuff we never got. Choose your weapon. Theories of personal firearm selection. The Indian Pacific. The Uplift Quest for Mega Traveler in the New Era. For Dark Conspiracy, The Shroud and Flashback. For Shadowrun, Tirte and Gaia. Cthulhu Now, we've got Miskatonic University. Space 89, Callback Yesterday. Venus is at best a mysterious, hostile, dangerous place and adventure. 2300 AD, The Esper Project. Star Trek, The Phasma Game, Thorns of a Silicon Rose. A series of system failures may prove this exobiology mission to be anything but routine. And more, plus Call of Cthulhu, Cyberpunk, Star Wars, and much more. Cover coming soon, a Space 1889 movie painting. Oh, I'd love to have seen that. Inside the back cover, we've got a nice colour advert. I think it's for the Rage collectible card game. I'm pretty sure that Werewolf the Apocalypse was out by this stage. It could be a second edition, possibly. But I think it's the Rage CCG. When Will You Rage? May the 5th. Nice piece of artwork. On the back cover, an advert for Steve Jackson Games' Illuminati The New World Order. Now, as usual, Challange Magazine absolutely packed with fantastic stuff, giving you a dip into so many different games. But it's kind of sad this was the last one. You can see that they had things planned. And it's a terrible shame that we never got to see those things. But I haven't even seen them online, which is rather disappointing. But anyway, I think I've whittled on for quite long enough as usual, so thank you very much for watching. As always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.